Hey, good evening, everybody. Sammy Thunder here. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, I have the esteemed honor to be able to host this live stream collaboration and discussion with Mikey from Geez Mikey, and he'll be joining me in a little bit. I thought I'd kind of start the live stream a bit early just to kind of, discuss some things, maybe see who's in the chat, who shows up a little bit early before Mikey arrives, and we can kind of have a nice little dialogue. And I'm just sorry, I'm just kind of checking things right now. I'm getting a lot of alerts, but yeah. So tomorrow is the Philadelphia show, which is my first time going, and I'm very intrigued by the opportunity, the experience of seeing how this goes. Uh, I have kind of like a structure and strategy in mind as far as what I want to find and kind of like what my budget for is going to look like. So essentially, I have like 12 or 13 cards out of the 20 that I was going to submit to SGC. As I mentioned in one of those videos, that was going to be subject to change because of the fact that certain cards might sell at shows that I was going to submit, and some cards did, some cards didn't. But I do have a nice string of cards that I will be bringing with me tomorrow, 12 or 13 of them. And so that'll be the first thing I do is go over to the SGC table and see if I could get them submitted. And I think that's going to bring me to roughly around like $200 because the cards obviously with the new pricing is if you got $15 per card, and it'll save me the initial process of shipping them down since they'll be at the show, so it kind of makes it really nice and easy. So that's one aspect of the show tomorrow. The next aspect of it is going to be um, maybe trying to find some inventory replenishments. That's kind of tough. The inventory replenishments can be a bit challenging just because of the fact that cards you really have to kind of dive deep and look to see what's available, and sometimes that includes bargain box diving in, trying to find cards that you can might be able to make a small profit on. And sometimes I can find stuff, sometimes I can't. So that's kind of also, I'm thinking about maybe budgeting around $200, $300 on replenishments that I can hopefully turn into a profit. But the most important thing of the show tomorrow at Philly is to find like a like a nice card to add to the collection. That's definitely on the radar. As far as what card, I'd love to find the 67 Venezuelan Christy Mathewson, 51 tops Connie Mack. I wound up purchasing one off of eBay, but it just didn't really work out the way I was hoping it would. The Mathewson card turned out to not be as advertised. Not that it was fake or anything, but it was just, long story short, it just wasn't as advertised. So definitely looking to add either the 51 tops Connie Mack, that would be kind of cool, or the 67 Venezuelan Mathewson. I've seen a couple of those, and they look really, really cool. The 67 Mathewson in particular, just the light blue or teal background. I think it's retired spelled, the word retired, and it's just I love the look of the card. The aesthetic of the card really just kind of it appeals to me. So, and then the Connie Mack, kind of like the pop out card. Those just look really, really cool, and I know they have like a full set of those, so that should be really exciting. For those that are joining, you're obviously from the title, this is going to be a video with Mikey from Geez Mikey's channel. If you're familiar with him, great channel. He's one of my favorites to watch and listen to. A lot of great insight, and we're gonna dive a lot into his background as far as his collection and how he came to collect vintage. And we're definitely going to jump into that. I told him I'd get started a little early just to kind of introduce things. And we talk a little bit about, as I mentioned, the Philadelphia show tomorrow. So that's definitely something on the radar. It's a full weekend, man. Saturday, tomorrow the Philly show, and then Sunday and setting up in Milford, Connecticut. It's just action packed, man. Really, really action packed with a lot going on. So a lot to look forward to there. And hopefully I'll have some. I was thinking about breaking the 54 set that I have. It's the 54 top set that not the full set. It was like a semi-completed set that I have that I'm thinking about breaking up and selling at the Milford show as a way of replenishing inventory. It wasn't a set that I was planning on building. I ended up finding a semi-completed set with some stars and a lot of commons, but just I'm on the fence of whether or not to sell it at my show, or to sell, like, to break up the set. That card story. And what's going on? Thank you. Mm. Matt, thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate it. Double D Vintage is here. Hunter is here. What's going on, guys? Dylan, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you listening in while you're working. As I mentioned, just kind of starting this live stream early, waiting for. I told Mikey I'd start a little early. I'm really excited because Mikey's channel is one of the first channels I started watching when I got back into the hobby. And so he has an intriguing, just a really kind of a unique personality that I think appeals to a lot of collectors. And, I think it's just, and I mean, obviously his collection is phenomenal. We're going to dive into that tonight a little bit to learn a little bit more about his collecting. And, I think there's a lot to learn about everybody that I do collaborations with. I mean, obviously Dylan is in here, and did a collaboration with him and got to learn a lot about his style. And Orlando is another one, and doing these collaborations really just have been really just enriching for me to learn more about the different styles of collecting. It's really an eye-opening experience and a good learning experience to be able to kind of take what some others do and apply it to your own form of collecting. I mean, I think, as we've all mentioned, I've definitely caught that pre-war bug that I think Matt was talking about. I can't remember if it was Matt or Dave. So yeah, I could, you know, let me know in the chat. I think it was Matt who said that. And yeah, I mean, it was really eye-opening to see everybody at the National collecting or buying these really unique items. Kind of staying, I mean, maybe not staying entirely away from the kind of like I wouldn't call them traditional cards, but I guess you can. The base, the tops run of, like the 50s and the 60s and so forth. And I found what some of the other creators were collecting was like really cool stuff. And like hanging out with Dom and Staven Sports Cards, seeing what he's buying. It was really cool. Really, really good eye-opening experience. Seeing Theo from Clemente Collector. Theo bought up the what was it, the 64 stand-up Topps Clemente card, and Matt, I think you got the Hank Aaron, if I'm correct on that. So that was really cool, and it kind of lured me into getting the Willie Mays, man. I mean, this is actually one of the cards I'm going to be submitting tomorrow for my SGC submission. It's just a shame that it has, somebody wrote 400, or I can't really tell it's kind of blurry, so I can't really see, but 1100. It looked like It kind of looked uh, like a 400. But I'll be submitting that, and that's going to be part of it tomorrow. And so I'll show while we're waiting for Mikey, I'll show the cards that I have left over from the show that I last set up at. I originally had 20 cards I was going to submit. Now I'm down to like 12 or 13. So I'll show you the cards again, because in case anybody didn't see the video. Got this really nice looking. Sorry, I'm going to try to do my best here. The camera's not the greatest. I may have to. There we go. It might be a little better to see. Yeah. So a nice 66. Really nicely centered on this one. It's the Clemente, Aaron, and Mays. The only downside about this is it's got some surface issues. It's got some, I wouldn't say scuffs, but I don't know. It's not wax, and I don't know what it is. It's just ink, probably. And it's just a natural progression of the card, just being the age that it's at. But it's beautiful looking. And I saw that B. Roth, Brian, sent his in. He got a 5 on it, so I'm feeling hopeful. This one, the 1957, I think, Rival Fence Busters. If I can get this in focus, that'd be phenomenal. One way or another. Come on, you can do it. This camera's got to do a little better. What do I have to do to get this thing in focus? There we go. I got to really go all the way in on this. Look at this one. This is really nice. This one I bought. There's a guy who I found on Facebook, and he's selling off his collection. I don't know. It was like his collection, his father's collection. They kind of worked together in the 80s and 90s, buying up stuff. And this is one of the cards, man. This is really nice. Combo cards flying. Yeah, you're right, Matt. This is a really nice Rival Fence Bust. She's got the Duke and Willie Mays together. This one I think has a really nice chance of getting a pretty high grade, but I don't know. I'm just having fun with it for $15. I don't think you can go really wrong with that. This one, this one's for Matt. I think Matt will appreciate this one. I imagine he has like 100 of these, but you got a nice looking 73 Hank Aaron. This one came from that same collection from the guy on Facebook, and it's really, really nice looking. This one's tough. I know this one doesn't come centered as nicely, so this is pretty cool. Got the back as well. So I've had some pretty good luck with 73s. I haven't submitted that many of them, but every now and then. I'm gonna check this one tonight before I send it out, but I'm pretty certain it's good. It's the 71 Clemente. If I can get this showing in good light, there we go. Yeah, 71 Clemente. Probably a low to mid grade, maybe 4 is what I was thinking. But I know it's a popular card. People always seem to like this one. The Gibson, 1960, second year, Bob Gibson. Can I get it in focus? There, I thought I had it a second ago. Yeah. Come on. My arm can't stay here forever. There we go. Yeah, nice looking 60 Gibson. Probably I'm going to bring this one in and get this one checked out. This one is tough to find center. The next card I'll show you. This one is the 62, the home run leaders with Mickey Mantle and Maris, the famous year. And this one is just centered and razor sharp, man. The only issue is it just has some surface condition issues, but man, what a card. If I can get it in focus. Let's really go up close. Cameras are finicky, man. They don't, they just don't want to, they don't want to cooperate sometimes. Hold it with 2 arms because apparently it just needs to, there we go. That's much better. This one was super, super nice. Obviously a really popular card because Maris and Mantle, the home run record. So it's that one. And let's see what we got. The Hank Aaron 68. Talk about centered cards. What's nice about this one is nicely centered. I'm sorry, not nice. It's not nicely centered, but it's very, very sharp. So looking forward to see what this one gets out of curiosity. Got ourselves gotta have a Nolan Ryan submission. It wouldn't be right. I have a bunch of these. I'm sending one of these in. And I have a history of sending these in. I've sent a bunch, and these gotten like 4, 4.5, 5 maybe. So for those of you that are watching or curious why Mikey's not here yet, I started the live stream a bit early. He'll be joining me shortly. So we're going to jump away from the card submission and talk a little bit about his collection. I'm sure Mikey's got a great collection. There's no denying that. So I'm sure we're going to see some great stuff. Next one I'll show here is the Johnny Bench second year. Such a popular card, the Johnny Bench. This one's nicely centered, but it does have a corner issue on the top right. But I can live with that. And hopefully with the centered being, the centering being pretty nice, I can get at least like a 4 on it, but probably get a 3 more likely. But maybe a 4. So we got 71 Simmons. He's a tough player to move as far as cards go, but I think in the right condition you can definitely find the right buyer for this one. I know there's people out there that love to get like high grade Hall of Famers, especially the Ted Simmons rookie. I think this will do pretty well. Let's see. What is Matt saying? FYI, focus is great if you keep Farmville words from your shirt off count. Oh, the Stormville shirt? Farmville. Stormville, man. Yeah. I got to try to do that. I think I just need to kind of crouch down and not expose the shirt. Yeah, Stormville's great, man. If you guys are ever in the New York area, let me know. And because Stormville is a great flea market. It's huge. It's not like an airstrip. And Henry S. You did it upside down. Okay, I can't really read that. Yeah, so Stormville is like on an airstrip in Stormville, New York, and it's one I haven't gone yet, and I'm really hoping I can get to at least one before the season's done. So that's definitely on the agenda. Hey, look at that. Yeah, I'm really hoping I can get to at least one before the season's done. Oh man, I think we're bleeding into your video there, buddy.
Hey, look at that. Right. I was having trouble. My phone said something was blocked.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm not very tech savvy.
No, it's all good. It's all good, man. Listen, it's I'm using this webcam because my iPhone, I can't get the iPhone paired up with StreamYard. It says it's that easy, but for whatever reason, it just never works. So I just had to come up with some alternative.
I have yet to do that, a collaboration with anybody on my channel for that reason, because I really don't know how. So I'm slowly learning the ropes as I'm going on, right. Teaching myself.
Well, let me just say, give you a formal introduction instead of talking about how untech savvy we are.
Right.
Everybody, for those that are watching, I'm introducing now Mr. Mikey from Geez Mikey. And if you haven't watched his channel, he does a little bit of everything. I mean, I think you're a vintage connoisseur, though. That's your bread and butter. But we can see the background behind you. You got the binders of all the.
Oh yeah.
We're going to dive into that, but the binders of like a variety is the best way to put it. And it's so. I just want to say, first off, thank you so much for taking the time to hop on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to do this for a while. You're one of the first channels I started watching when I started doing the YouTube thing, and your channel is very, very unique, and it's very you have a and a strong, a good, appealing personality that I think a lot of people really enjoy, because you make collecting really a lot of fun. And
I'm having fun.
yeah, and also for music as well, like the very soft, and like you can hear it. It's that classic 50s, whatever it is, the little vintage nostalgic jingle that goes with your videos. So, but for everyone watching, this is Mikey from Geez Mikey here. So, if you want to introduce yourself, talk about a little bit about your channel, so I can stop talking.
Well, I really don't know where to start because for the most part, I'm a set builder, and that's pretty much the primary of my channel. But how you say, I make baseball collecting fun, and that's because I pretty much collect anything, you know. But my primary focus is pretty much set building. I collect autographs, pre-war, vintage, modern, rookie cards, you name it. I have it in my collection, as far as, you know, the different types of cards. Only baseball though. I don't collect anything other than that, but it's pretty much only baseball. I'm a baseball fanatic, you know, born and raised, and yeah, it's just a game that I really enjoy. You know, it's a fun game.
So we're gonna dive in different directions, but I think that's what makes, like, why I love doing these collaborations, is because it being organic, and it can go in many different directions. But I want to start with your binders first.
Sure.
Looking at your binders in the back, I watched enough videos to know that you organize your set building by teams, by year, and to walk us through that a little bit, because there's definitely a mindset that you have that's different from others that set build. So if you don't mind diving into that a little bit.
Sure. I actually have a sneak peek for you, because my laptop's been down, right? That's why I haven't been making videos. I made that Burbank video, and that's pretty much all you guys saw because my laptop went out. Okay. In the meantime, while I was getting that issue taken care of, I actually been, you know, focusing on my binders a little bit. And I don't think I can do a reverse on this, but bear with me. I'm gonna share with you guys something that I did really new. It's pretty recent. And let me grab this real quick, and I'm gonna show you guys what I did, and then I'll explain to you guys what I'm doing over here. See this? I added new labels.
The old school tops.
Yeah. So if you guys can remember, the old tops ones, they kind of look like this. Well, I'm getting rid of this because I'm adding the sticker format, the decal stickers. So from far away, I don't know if you can see it from far away, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm not done with this yet because I still have to add the years, like right here. I got to put them back because I literally ordered some new binders. You know, these are fresh new binders straight from the box. And that's what I've been working on within the last like 3 weeks or so, as I've been in downtime in downtime, you know. So I can explain to you guys a little bit how that happened. When I got back into collecting, oh man, a long time ago, 2008, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. It was during the financial market when it went south. And that's when I got back into collecting, which is bizarre because I found my collection in the garage. I was just looking through it, and I know some cards were worth money. You know, I had a few like you know, Derek Jeter rookie cards. I had some stuff in the 70s, Reggie Jackson, Johnny Bench, whatever. Long story short, after looking through all that stuff, I decided to sell my collection. Okay, I got about like $150 out of it. It was then that made me realize that, you know what, maybe baseball cards are still, you know, maybe not as in as they were in the 90s when I was a child, but maybe, you know, people are buying it because someone bought my collection for $150 after the whole dead wax era nonsense that they called it, you know, back then. It was that triggered me to collect again. However, I decided to do something different. Okay, I wanted to collect nothing but Dodger cards. So I started off with like a Sandy Koufax. I think it was a 65 or 66, and paid like $10 for it, you know, something like that. Really nice copy. From there, I went to like a Duke Snyder. From there, I went to, you know, Campy and all these Dodger greats. And then I was just like, well, if I'm buying Dodger cards, maybe I can get some Yankee cards. So I started buying Manos and Maris and, Berra. And then I started noticing that if I was buying collections, because I sold mine for 150, I can even get even more cards. So what I was doing, it's pretty funny, man. So I was just buying collections, right? Collections that had Maris and, Mano and all that. With all these cards I didn't care for. I did not care for them, but it's literally the same price as if I were to buy one Mano or one Duke Snyder, I would get a whole bunch of cards with it. So then I started coming across, I should maybe save these because these actually look pretty cool. These are cards I've never seen before. Again, when I was younger, I didn't have a whole lot of vintage cards. The oldest I had was probably 70s, 78, 79. So then I started putting them in binders. Okay. And I went to Target and I bought a whole bunch of 1-inch binders. Okay. I wasn't thinking about set building at the time. I was just throwing them in there. And I thought it looked so cool when I had all these random players of El Benchos. That's what I like to call them, the commons. I like to call them El Benchos. So I had a whole bunch of cards in the 1-inch binders. And I started noticing the binders were overflapping. And with those 3-ring binders, they're not D-ring binders. They're 3-ring binders where they're circle. I started noticing like the ones at the end, I would keep all my lower grade cards in there, but they were becoming even more lower grade, like poor. So then I started buying D-ring binders, which were these. And that's what opened up my eyes of set building, because I had so many of it that I was just putting them in pocket pages. And I was like, I think I found my itch. And from there, I just started buying binders, and then I just started decorating them. And then, the rest is history. And that's how this happened. And I enjoyed looking at cards in the binders. So no matter what it is in my collection, it's pretty much all of my binders other than my stuff that's graded. And I'm still trying to figure out how to do that in a binder, because I'm a binder guy. I like looking at my cards. I like enjoying my cards. I don't like them in top loaders or anything like that, and boxes and stuff like that. I'm a binder guy. That's why you see everything behind me. That's why everything's all organized on different sections. Again, I'm all over the place in my collection. I'm not just this way. I'm like this way, this way, this way, this way, and this way. I'm just all over the place. Whatever it is that I like, I buy, and that's what you see behind me now.
Now, it's interesting because Jake from Legends Never Die, I think, is also in the same mindset of binder-driven collecting, and loves, I think it's just the aesthetic of opening up a binder, going through the pages, seeing everything in unison, and just seeing the sets, page by page, kind of hits differently for those that enjoy that sort of experience. The binders that you have, I remember watching some of your videos. I see you have the tops, and then I see you have it by team. So I'm guessing you have multiple cards of the same player, but you organize them in binders based on the team or the years or the manufacturer.
Well, how that happened, I think it's on this side. Yeah, this is my team binders. How that happened was I wanted, because I created a Dodger binder where I wanted to collect every Dodger card, from the past to the present. I started, coming to the point where, I wanted to do the same thing with teams. Okay. So that's kind of how that started, because I was coming across doubles. When you're a set builder, you're finding, small collections and people that have doubles, you're trading, all that, whatever it is when you're set building. You're looking all over the place for card stats to your sets. And in all cases, you're coming across doubles, okay? So what I'm doing simply is just pretty much putting my doubles into use, okay? So that's how my team binder started. I did that with the Dodger cards, and then with my vintage team binders, I actually have a cap on that. I'm not trying to do like all the teams. It's just pretty much pre-1979. Nothing crazy after that, otherwise I wouldn't have any more room to put any teams in there, because I'm very limited in space over here. And with up to 79, you can get a good handful of cards of any team, of that time. And again, I'm also a player collector. So my binders are over here on the right side with, my players. So not only my, for example, a Willie Mays. Not only do I have them on my 50 sets, I have them on my Giant set. And then because I'm a player collector, I'm also going to have it in my player sets. So I'm pretty much all over the place. I love doubles. I like buying collections. I pretty much put every card I have to use. And if I have, four or more, then those are pretty much cards that I don't need, and I can use those for trade bait, pretty much. But that's what it comes down to, because I really enjoy finding collections, buying collections. Like, for example, I'm almost done with my 1969 set. Okay, I built that set maybe like 10 times, believe it
That's
or not.
incredible.
Yeah. So what happens is, because I like looking through those binders, I'm a binder guy. I end up selling that whole set, right? And I just simply start over, because I like to find those deals. I like to buy the same cards. I just I just have this nostalgia, just looking for cards and deals and collections. So none of these cards are rare. I built most of these sets multiple times, and that's pretty much what I do. So now I'm doing it a different route. Now I'm built a set. Now I'm doing a team set, and now I'm just doing player runs. So now it's just giving me more things to do. If that makes any sense, it's
No,
never ending.
it's a cycle. But if you built the 69 set 10 times, I mean, you haven't kept 10 sets of the same year, have you?
Say it again.
So you said you built the 69 set 10 like almost like 10 times at this point? Is
Yeah,
that
I'm exaggerating. It wasn't 10 times. It's like
well,
5 or 6 times.
sure, but
Yeah,
but more than just one or two. I
yeah.
mean, do you end up selling these sets and then moving on, or do you keep all these?
For the most part, I keep them until I get a whole lot of them, and then once I start getting bored, then I'll sell them. That's what it is. But usually, like, when I sell them, I don't well, it's not that I don't profit from them, but it's more like that money goes back into my collection, because that's
Yeah,
how I have, a manual rookie card. That's how I have a Maze rookie card.
sure.
So, it's not like I'm pocketing the money and ways, doing something else with it. It's actually going back into my collection. Whatever it
Right.
is that I sell, it actually goes back into my collection. So that's how I have a lot of these big name cards, because I had one time a 1969 set, three of them in three different binders at one time. Okay, one was a really low grade, one was a very excellent or better, and the other one was like mid grade. Again, I like looking for cards, so I was able to build three of them, and I put them in binders, and yeah, I sold them all, one shot, and then I used that money to buy, oh gosh, I don't remember, but it went back into my collection, and I bought some pre-war big names, all that stuff. So
That's
it's what
super,
I do,
super
man. It's
cool.
fun.
So one of the our content creators in the chat is asking, Mookie Chilson is asking, geez, Mikey, what brand binder, what brand of pages, and would you ever use a Z Folio?
I don't know what a Z Folio is. As far as my brand binders, I'm using BCWs. They're the white ones. You can get them on eBay. In fact, right now, I'm buying cases of 12 binders for $100 free shipping. Okay, for a good minute, these boxes were $89 pre-pandemic. Okay, before the card boom, and then they shot up to over $200 for a box of 12. I haven't bought, a box of binders. I just recently started buying them, because I'm finding them at prices of the pre, card boom again. So if you look on eBay, if you don't see it right now, just keep looking on it. You'll find a box of them, a 12 for $100, and that's a really good deal, because that's like $8 or $9 a pop per binder, compared to 25. So the pocket pages, I use Ultra Pro. That's all I use.
Very cool. So, okay, I know we were talking about the 69 sets and being a set builder, player runs. I want to kind of talk a little bit about your eBay expertise, because I feel, out of a lot of channels that I watch, you kind of hit the nail on the head when it comes to purchasing on eBay, especially when you talked about, I love the video where you talk about, is this a good deal? And you showcase the cards and you showcase the price and before and after. And it's really helpful, because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't have the savviness of being able to understand or being able to see a good deal versus a bad deal sometimes. And it's good education to learn how to break it down. So talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about like navigating eBay when it comes to vintage.
Okay, well, I do that for a reason. A lot of channels that I watch, I see people like paying prices that are unbelievable when I know I can get them for a third of what they're paying for. So I'm trying to help other collectors, and show them that, hey, first of all, collecting vintage is not expensive if you take the time. It takes a lot of patience to look for cards and collections and stuff like that. It's not you're not going to see it every day, every weekend, every month. It takes patience for that. Okay. Now, as far as shopping on eBay, my only recommendation to anybody who's asking me about these deals and finding these deals and how to find these cards is stay diversified with your collection. Because if you're out there looking for just straight, let's just say pre-war stuff. Let's say you're looking for a tight cop, you're looking for that, that one tight cop for a really good deal. You're gonna be there for looking for that tight cop for a long time. If you're looking for that tight cop, cool. But if you're also collecting autographs, you'll be looking at some autographs. If you're also collecting some manuals, you'll be looking at some manuals. If you're set building, you'll be looking at some set buildings. If you're into modern stuff, you'll be looking into some modern stuff. All I can say is stay diversified with your collection and things will pop up, because no matter how long you're looking for some, let's say you're set building, let's say you're looking for some 69 tops. If you keep looking for 69 tops, you're not going to find good deals. They pop up every once in a while. But when you're diversified, you look a little bit here, you look a little bit there, you look a little bit here, and that's when they start popping up. And that's how I come across a lot of whatever it is that I find. So that's one thing I can tell people: just stay diversified with your collection, and things will just magically happen as far as eBay goes. So that's the best I could tell anybody, because there's not really anything that I'm doing special. It's just because I collect different ways: player collector, team collector. I'm a set builder. I collect modern. I'm all over the place. I collect autographs, relics. I'm all over the place. So that's the best advice I can give anybody: is just stay diversified with your collection, and things will magically pop up out of nowhere.
That's really good. Like, so being, yes, the key element, the key thing out of that is staying diversified in your collection and being able to
Yeah.
kind of just have versatility in what you're looking for. Something that I've definitely shifted away from, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
uh,
if you're focused on like one section of your collection, then those deals are gonna pop up,
but
but it's
few
not
and far
gonna
between.
it's gonna be a while. Like
Yeah,
I go out looking for collections. You know how many collections I pass by because they're not a good deal, or they're overpriced? A lot. Like
right.
90% of them. But there's always that one that show up every 2-3 months. In the meantime, I'm looking for some other stuff. That's all.
So outside of eBay, you talk about buying collections, and I know we talked a little bit about this when you were first getting back into the set building, and you were sold your collection for 150, but then you started buying them up. Do you also go out to places like to face and purchase collections, or is that not
Yeah.
really a thing?
Yeah, I don't do that too often anymore. I kind of just stick to eBay for the most part. However, every now and then I'll be on Craigslist or OfferUp, stuff like that. And I've had, quite a handful of experiences buying people's collections. In fact, I found a guy on Craigslist who had the Nolan Ryan rookie card in my collection and the Ernie Banks. That came from a collection that I found on Craigslist. And he had a whole bunch of modern stuff and some, mixed in vintage stuff. I pretty much sold everything and just kept those two cards, and those two cards came out for free. There's another gentleman who I actually found him on eBay, and he lived up close. And I told him, if it just doesn't sell, I can go tomorrow and pick it up, at a price. And yeah, we agreed on the price. I went out there, and this was a collector from like the 80s and 90s, and he had all sorts of crazy stuff. Problem is, age got to him. Okay, so his kids didn't want the cards, and he had a fantastic collection. He had all sorts of autographs and memorabilia. Not only cards, he was also a set builder. And this guy literally cried when I was loading up my van,
Wow.
because he knew that time was ending where he had to move on because his health wasn't, the best.
Right.
And his kids didn't want him. He wanted to pass them down to his kids. So I have a good handful of stories of me going out and buying collections, and I've done that. I used to do that a lot before YouTube. With YouTube, I have, ever since I joined YouTube, I don't do like stuff like that anymore. It's very rare. I go out of my way and look for collections, but I still look, and if I come across one, I'll go out and buy one. But for the most part, I stick to eBay for that.
I see. And yeah, so um, it seems like now, since the height of the pandemic, collections are becoming more and more difficult to find because of the hobby's increase in popularity.
Yeah.
Um, Now, you don't set up at shows, do you?
No, I was considering doing that, but I can't do that.
You
Only because I know what I pay for the cards, and then I don't feel like right. I don't know. It's just weird. I enjoy watching you guys do it and see what you guys buy and sell it for. For me, I think I'm probably better off with eBay when I'm not making eye contact with anybody. Because for the most part, I probably just be like, all right, here, take it. I only got $1. I paid $1
right?
for it. So I'm not. I don't think I'd be good at that. Only because just knowing what I paid for, stuff that I find. I am a contractor, so if that's a different story. I can sell anybody anything, but for something that I got so little for, I don't know if I have the heart to do that. So no, I don't do shows.
But yeah, because I think more recently, you've been attending a lot more shows. I know the Burbank show was right around the corner, was just not too
Yeah.
long ago. But you don't attend a lot of shows, right? You mostly
Well,
buy online.
LA doesn't have a whole lot of shows. That's the problem.
Yeah,
And it's bizarre for as big as what LA is. There's not a whole lot of shows. And recently, because I know a couple of vendors, they're actually been hitting me up. Hey, are you going to this? Are you going to that? So I'll make plans for it rather than. And this is just recent, by the way. 2 years ago, I had no idea there's any shows. I know the Burbank show. That's something new that happened or started happening over here and in LA. But the one that they just recently had, that was only the third one. I went out one to Chino Hills. That was one that I just randomly came across the day before on Instagram. I had no idea. And then I think that's it. Those are the only shows I've been. Again, we don't have a whole lot of shows like you guys do, or people in the East. And back east, even if it's out of state, that show for you guys, it's probably only like a 20 or 30-minute drive.
right.
Over here in
Right.
California, it's so big, 20-minute, 30-minute drive barely passes LA because there's so much traffic.
Yes.
So there's not a whole lot of shows over here.
Well, it's good
Or
that
at
you
least
had
that I know of.
It's good that you had the Burbank show because that I remember I was watching the videos and as you know, I was looking forward to seeing the negotiations that you were doing there,
Oh, they're tough that year, man, or that day. They're tough.
especially with
It
that one guy who didn't have any prices on his cards and was just going off of a whim, and those
yeah.
are tough. Those are tough.
I think I gotta start exposing some of these dudes, man. Because, just stay away from people like that. Just don't even bother them. And it's such a joke. Just put a price tag on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe because I'm new to shows like this, going to card shows, so I'm not used to this. I'm not used to people, setting up their boxes to try to trade. I'm over looking through cards and I'm over like, getting my ass grabbed. So I'm new to all this. I'm trying to do more of them because they're actually fun. I like bargaining, and that's something that I learned from Mike, baseball collector. Okay, he says never pay sticker price, and I
Right.
was like, okay. So I went into Burbank with that mentality the first time we went because Mike was at the first one in Ontario. So going to the recent one that I went to, same mentality. I didn't pay sticker price and a whole lot of stuff, but they were kind of tough. They were tough. I heard more no's than the one in Ontario where they're like, okay, just take it. Over here, they're like, no, I can't do that. Or what about this? And I was like, all right, that's kind of fair, I
Yeah.
guess. It was kind of tough, yeah. But it's fun. I'm trying to do more of them. So hopefully.
Well, I feel like do you find when you going back to eBay for a second, do you find that when you find something you like, if it has the make an offer option, do you find that sort of negotiating much easier because you're not facing the person face to face?
Um, Honestly, I don't really do the offer too
Okay.
often on eBay. If I feel like it's a fair deal, I'll straight out buy it. The only time I'll do an offer is if it's like a card over 100, and I just pretty much just give one offer. I don't go back and forth. Okay, if they accept it, cool, great. If they don't, then I move on because I know I can get that card or a similar card for the asking price of what I want to pay for it. I literally don't lowball anybody. I'm not gonna look for a manual card and offer them $20 when I know they're selling
Right.
for 150. So just depending on grade of what it is that they have listed. um I really don't use too much of the offers on that. Bizarre, huh? You would think I would.
Well, I mean, listen, if there's a card on eBay that was like $15 over comp value, maybe it's like borderline. You might be able to work in a deal where both the seller and you can be happy. But yeah, no, I mean that's the
Like
way.
the other day, I bought a 56 Whitey Ford and a 54, I think Billy Martin, and I paid $20 a pop. Okay, they were asking 25, so I just put 20. They accepted it.
Yeah,
That's a pretty fair deal. I'm not
absolutely.
going to be like $10. $10
No,
you.
no. I mean,
That's a pretty fair
definitely
deal,
definitely fair. I mean, $5 is not a make or break situation,
right?
so it's totally understandable.
So yeah, I do use it, just not a whole lot because I do more auction style. I look for more auction styles than I do with listings. Now the stuff with the listings, unless I'm buying, something like I said that 56 Whitey Ford or that Billy Martin cards in that, similar to that, I'll use it. But anything like over like a couple $100, I'm actually putting that in my PayPal because it's zero interest for 6 months, and
Mhm.
every week I'll put like $25 or 30, whatever it is, and I'll pay it off in a month. So I have different techniques on what it is that I buy, and how I do things, and different price tags on how I tackle different cards. So yeah, I don't use too much of the offer stuff.
When you do buy online or go to shows, is there do you kind of have a feel of buying raw versus graded, or are you kind of flexible and just
I
whatever is
actually
better?
stay away. I actually stay away from graded cards. I'm usually there for the raw cards, and only because a lot of the graded cards that I come across, they're like way overpriced. Now, unless I come across a good deal, like I came across a '68 Topps game Frank Robinson at the Burbank show for $10, like that's a
I
no
saw
brainer.
that.
Stuff like that. That's a no brainer. I came across at Desi Vance. I actually offered him $30, and he said no because there was a price tag of 40. But we met in the middle at 35. See, that's pretty reasonable. But if you're looking for errands or Mays or Manos, forget it. They're way overpriced. I can get them on eBay a lot cheaper. So for the most part, I go in there with the mentality of just buying raw for the most part and being spontaneous because I'm not there looking for anything. I'm just there just looking. If I come across something that's cool, that's that's pretty much how I'll do it. Everybody asks me what I look for. I'm just being spontaneous. Whatever I could come home with, that's a fair deal. That's all I care.
That's great. So when you went to the Burbank show, I mean, I know you said spontaneous, but did you have any card in mind or anything in
No,
mind, or were you not? No, not at all.
nothing, man. Nothing. I
That's
just
great.
went there. I just went there being spontaneous. I knew there was a bar there, so I went there with my beer, and all just looking at cards, and that's pretty much all I do, man. Looking at cards. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. I'll buy it, but I'm not there looking for high grade cards or the expensive stuff. I'm not there at all. I'm pretty much there for the $20 or less type stuff. Only because sometimes on eBay they're a little bit more, so and then the expensive stuff I have different ways of buying it, on eBay.
Um, so yeah, Mookie wrote, Mikey, you need to come east. Sammy Thunder gives sicko deals at shows. So,
Big old
Mikey,
deals.
so Mookie came to. I was set up at a show in Garfield last weekend, and Mookie came up, and him and I have seen each other at shows a lot recently, and um, he's a big Mets fan like I am. So he bought. I saw I had a 71 Seaver, and I told him that I'd give him the content creators discount. So he got. I gave him. I was marked. I had it for like $20, and then I said like, take it for $10. I want you to have it. And so yeah, he's. If you're ever in the East Coast, man, you got to let us know because I mean,
Ye-
It's
I
incredible.
got you.
I know we were talking earlier about like how there's a vast difference in the East Coast versus West Coast shows.
Oh
And
man.
somebody showed me a website recently of a map that kind of like a Google Maps sort of thing that laid out all the shows that were happening at any given time. And it is remarkable how many pins are split all over the place in the East Coast and how sparse they are on the West Coast.
Yeah, the West Coast has nothing, man. I'm trying to do as many as I can because I'm having fun doing them. But I actually have tickets. They gave me tickets for the one in Burbank. So the next show I should be going to is in November in Pasadena. Not that far. It's like 10 miles away from me, or 2 hours away if you want to equivalent to traffic hours.
Right.
It's not that far away from me, so I'm looking forward for that. That's gonna be in November. But I'm trying to do as many shows. I'm telling these vendors and these people who I'm following on social media just to text me, send me messages whenever the show, send me a flyer. I'm trying to do more of them. They're fun. It's fun talking to other vendors or people and just talking baseball cards. It's really fun. It's something new to me. I've never done it. This is fairly new to me, so I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually trying to work things out that I go to with the Nationals next year. I think it's in Cleveland, right? Next year?
Yeah, I'm really hoping you go, man. I mean, I think it'd be like a kid in a candy shop for you because of your spontaneous nature.
I bet, man.
You will be running around like a kid in a candy shop because there's so much variety in every table. Now, granted, like I went to the Chicago one this year, and every table had the Mantle, the Mays, the Clementes, the Aarons.
Right.
Everybody had the same cards. And, that's for anyone with a spontaneous nature like yourself, it gives you that variety to really kind of dive in. And it has every condition possible. So I'm really hoping you do go because it's an experience.
Yeah, and I get jelly every year every time I see you guys. There's actually one big problem with Nationals for me is because I'm a contractor. I'm legit busy in the summer. It's one of those things where am I gonna lose a couple $1,000s a day just to go over here and spend a couple $100? It's one of those because that's pretty much what pays my bills. So
Right.
I'm trying to work things out where I can raise up a little bit of money so I can go next year and it won't hurt me. So I'm trying to pull some magic and some strings, and hopefully I'll see you guys in Cleveland because I really want to go. I really want to go to there.
You should check out Reindeer Studios. You should check out Scott's video on tips about Cleveland, places to stay, places to check out. It's if there's one person who's going to know a lot about that area, it's going to be Scott. So,
yeah, apparently there's Amish people over there, man. That's stuff you see on TV. I didn't even know that was. That's stuff that you see on TV, guys. Over here in the West Coast, like we live like a whole different world, So seeing that on one of his videos, I was like, wow, that's true then. That's just bizarre. I don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff I haven't seen in the States because California is so big. No matter how far I drive for hours, I'm still in California, it seems like. So
let me ask you this question. I know your collection is vast. Obviously, with the set building, we see what's behind you. You said you had you do have player runs, but are there any cards that are kind of like lock safe, like a safe worthy or like bank vault worthy that you keep stowed away?
Do I have any cards that I keep stored away from not in my possession?
I guess what I'm saying is like the best cards of your collection. Are they raw? Are they graded? Are they in the binders?
The best cards in my collection are in a box, my PSA box, but I keep all my graded stuff together. I keep everything that I have together. Again, I'm that guy. I'm very neat, I guess you can say, organized. I'm that guy. So my boxes pretty much have all my graded cards, and they're all categorized by year, and product. Like all my T206 cards are in one box, and then my 50s tops, and I got my 60s tops, and then it's all in the same box for the most part. Yeah. But I don't have anything in the vault. I don't really believe that. I'm not a big fan of the banks,
Sure.
So I don't trust them, and then I pretty
No, no,
much
no.
don't.
I think I was just using them as using like the
Oh,
bank vault as kind of like the premier spot for those type of cards. Not,
oh yeah, no. For the
but
most part,
yeah,
they're all put together, for the most part. So you really have to dig into what I have to look for it because I got so much stuff. You know, if nobody would know where it's at because I have so much stuff. They would have to
right,
take pretty much every box. To know, and they're all scattered too because I keep everything by certain eras and tops and Bowman and you know what I'm saying.
yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm not sure if that makes any
No,
sense.
no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So going back to you being a set builder, and there's a lot, a lot of collectors that kind of go that direction. What would you like? The one piece of advice that I've always gotten as a set builder, or I'm going to give two pieces of advice that I've received, which is one, go after the Hall of Famers first if you can, because those cards will only become more expensive over time. And the second one is to also be patient. Do not jump the gun. Do not feel like you have to accomplish a set in a certain period of time. Do you feel those two coincide with your approach?
Uh, yes and no. Excuse me. One thing I do recommend is buy the Mickey Mantle because that one's not getting any cheaper.
Yeah.
I always tell people buy the Mantle, and if you're a first time set builder, pick a set that isn't hard. It doesn't have a hard rookie card in there, or a very expensive one. So once you complete it, you have that sort of accomplishment. Um, Feeling rushed, I would say buy a starter set. Okay, buy a starter set with the Mickey Mantle, and then just work at your pace. That's the two advices I would get because there's people out there who are actually buying one card at a time. When you're buying, there's a problem when you're buying one card at a time. It takes freaking forever. So you're working on that set for like 2, 3, 4 years. Trust me, I know. And then another advice I have is if you're building a top set between 52 and 57, I recommend buying those one card at a time. Okay, because the starter sets are way expensive. If you were to get a starter set, especially the 52s, you can get a 52 card, a Bancho, a common card for $5, $6, $7 a pop. If you were to find them in a lot, of 10, you're spending like $200, $300, which makes that card like 15, $20 a pop. When you can find that single for $5, $6, $7, and
Right.
that's what I'm saying with the anything in the 50s, you're better off buying those singles auction style so you can find them for just a couple dollars compared to 5, 10 if you're to buy them in a lot. Anything from like 58 through 79, or actually not that far, 58 through I'd say like 74. I would say find yourself a good starter set and buy yourself that Mantle. 75 through 79, I would say just buy the set already.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Because it's not even worth set building it because you're gonna spend so much money, and you can buy that set for like $200, $300 depending on what year, obviously. But if you really, really, really want to set build it, just be prepared to pay 5x the time you would than you would if you would have buy it already completed.
Right.
So there is a few tips that I have, which just depending on what you want to set build, 50, 60, 70s.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, I,
Especially
I get
because
people asking me, they want to build a 69. I said, sure, man, just buy the Mano and buy the Reggie Jackson, and you can build that like this. And
yeah,
then I get people who tell me they want to build the 54, and I'm like, well, good luck because that Hank Aaron ain't cheap, and neither that Ernie Banks is, and Tommy Lasorda, Al Kaline,
sure.
Ted Williams, Jackie. Good luck with that.
That's a tough
Uh,
one.
that
Yeah,
could be.
the 54. I accidentally stumbled upon a semi-completed set, and I showed this in a video.
Is
But
that the recent one you showed?
yeah, and I vowed not to get back into set building, and lo and behold, I'm back in it because the temptation was too good. And now I'm like thinking about moving it, but I don't know, man. Like that 54 set to me is just, I love the look on those cards more so than other years. I don't know. It's something about like the baby blue and the yellow and the green, and
Oh
it's,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could talk
Well,
this all day. I mean, this is what
when
everybody
they're
loves.
all put together, they
Yeah.
look fantastic. I agree on the 54. Um, my favorite set is the 52. Man, I just can't get over that. I love them. They're different. They're unique. They're like some look photo-ish, some look cartoonish. I just love them. Like the 52, they're my favorite set.
Do you have so 52? I know you're yeah, Dodgers. So I imagine you must have, what is it, Gil Hodges 52.
Yeah.
I don't think what Pee Wee Reese didn't have a card from that because he
Uh,
was.
yes, he does actually, but
Oh, okay.
it's a high number. I don't have
Oh,
any
okay.
high numbers, and I don't showcase so many 52 high numbers because they're not cheap, and I'm trying to do so many other things where I'm not going to spend a couple $100 on cards like that. So I'm building the semi high number, which is up to the mantle, and luckily I already have the mantle, so it's just
Yeah.
from the mantle on down that I'm working on.
So we have Mookie's asking a question. He's asking, Mikey, how do you move a set when you're ready to sell eBay?
Yes. I actually do a couple things, depending on the set. Okay. Um, oh my God. Depending on a couple things. Okay. Anything from the 70s, I saw that completed. Okay. Um, Stuff from the 50s, I kind of just break them down to lots and then sell the star players by itself. And to me, I feel like I get more money that way. The stuff for the 60s, the same thing. I kind of sell. It just depends on how good my Mickey Mantle looks like at the time when I buy it, when I complete that set. Because if it looks like X or better than which I had before, then I will sell that separately, obviously, because people like grading stuff, the star players. But if it's like a mid grade or lower grade, then I will just sell that set already completed. So it kind of varies. When I sold my collection during the pandemic, man, I made some really good money. But a lot of my stuff were, X or better. So I actually broke them down into small lots. And then the star players and Hall of Famers, I sold those individually. And man, I made some really good money. I took advantage of that. And now I'm buying that back far cheaper than what I did when I sold it. It's really bizarre, man.
Yeah, I've seen that, especially with Reggie Jackson. I think the 69 Reggie Jackson was at one point it was really up high, and now it's kind of steered
Yeah.
down a little bit. There was a video with Mike Moynihan, baseball collector. He did a video. I can't remember who he did the interview with, but he was talking about rookie cards and how in 2020, I think it was a 2022 video. It might have been this year. He was talking about how practically every rookie card has gone down, with the exception, I think, of like Hank Aaron and one other player. And it's remarkable, really. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody, the rookie cards to me, I guess, or to some people are just desirable. But there's some people who wonder, why are they so desirable? Because there's so many of them out there. So what do you think? When it comes, this goes away from some of the things we discussed, but I'm curious because it's a good question. What do you think is Why do you think rookie cards are so expensive, and what makes them so desirable when there's a decent amount of them out there?
To be honest, man, I don't know what white cards are very desirable when there's thousands of them out there. That's the best answer I could give you because there's a lot of 1952 Topps Mickey Mantles out there. There's a lot of 1951 Bowman's Mantles out there. But I have a Shoeless Joe Jackson, and they don't really come up. And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, this is a pretty much rare card, but the Mantle rookies are not. Like, I don't understand why this is more desirable than that. The way people collect and how they buy things, so, it will never make sense to me. I have no answer for that.
Well,
I have no answer for that.
let's go back and forth on this a little bit. I wonder
Sure.
if, and tell me what you think. The Shoeless Joe Jackson's a great example, because obviously his stuff is rare and it's tough to
Yeah.
find. There's no denying that. But and while the Mantle 52 Tops is, I mean, I'm not saying it's readily available, like you can get it really anywhere,
Right.
but would you say it's the Mantle is probably desirable because of the fact A, he's Mickey Mantle, B, baseball is just the 50s was kind of like the golden age of baseball in terms of popularity with kids and adults alike. Would you say those two factors kind of make that card really more desirable?
I think the story behind it of them tossing those cards into the ocean makes that card very desirable. Plus, it being Mickey Mantle, probably the greatest '50s hitter at the time, Yankee. I think that's that's the reason why that 52. However, that being the card and the 51 Bowman not being the card, again, that's his true rookie card. The 52 isn't really, but I think it's more so the story behind the 52 of it being the first card with the stats, them being dumped in the ocean, just the narrative that was built behind it. I think that the 52, why people like that 52. Price point, I will never understand why it's so expensive. You see just as many 52s as you do with 51s. Again, it probably goes back to the narrative of the story that they created for it. I don't personally, I don't feel like that card's rare. I know I own one, but when I bought that, there were still like hundreds of them listed. Okay, I actually sold a collection to buy that card. Okay, not every day people have a couple $1,000 sitting down in their bank account to buy cards like that. I didn't have that, so I sold a collection that I built for many years. I've always wanted a Mantle because every time I would open up a Beckett, there was a Mantle right there. And then when I was younger, they made Mantle seem like he was God. He was like the best hitter ever. So it was just one of those things, as a kid, Mantle, and it made me appreciate Mantle, when I was collecting. And as I got older, they made that movie 61. I know he wasn't really the whole movie, but he was part of it. It just brought all that back with Mantle.
Right.
And it's just around that time I just started buying Mantles, and I was like, I've always wanted a 52. Maybe I can build up a collection, sell it, and then buy that, and own that, and that's exactly what I did. But do I feel like that card is worth that? No, I do not, because there's a lot of them. It's not like the Shoeless Joe where there's not that many of them. I feel like the price tag should be reversed, but it goes down to the narrative of the story that they built around the 52 Tops. So
I think also that, and then when you talk about Joe Jackson and how his name was sort of tarnished in baseball for quite a long time, and there's that narrative too. And
that will never make sense either, man. It's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You got people who are junkies that make the Hall of Fame. It's not what you do; it's what you did. During the game, whatever. I don't know. Just like Pete Rose, like that guy should be in the Hall of Fame. Some guys, they did the steroid era. They should be in the Hall of Fame. They did some pretty good damage, man. They had a good impact in baseball, and a lot of those players in the Black Sox, a lot of them are good, and a lot of them are not in the Hall of Fame for that same reason. It would never make sense. The Hall of Fame will never make any sense.
That's completely subjective.
Yeah,
you can't. That's going to be that whole. The Hall of Fame conversation is going to be debated forever.
Yeah.
But at some point, Pete Rose. Absolutely.
I hope one day, Eddie Seacott will make it, and Shoeless Joe and Buck Weaver. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully, they will turn that around.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Pete Rose too, man. Those were some great names in baseball once upon a time.
Absolutely. Is there anything on the horizon? I know you're a spontaneous collector. You like to buy things just based on time and place. But is there anything on the horizon that you have been thinking about that's not, that you're working towards?
It's not really a big name card. It is for me, only because it's so expensive now. I was this close and pulling the trigger on a 56 manual yesterday. This close. Now it's not really it's not really a big name, but that car now it's it's not cheap, man. A couple years ago, that was like a $200 car. Now, like, yeah, I'll buy it next time. I'll buy it next time. I'm buying all these El Banchos. I'm set building, and now it's like almost $1,000 card. If not, that's if you want it in a decent condition. I'm not a high grade collector, so I like cards that are nice appeal. I'm okay with the authentics. I'm okay with the ones and twos. If I pop them out of those graded cards, you can't even tell they're ones or twos. So I'm that collector. There you go. So I was this close yesterday. I'm pulling the trigger on that, and I have a whole lot of money stashed in my PayPal because I use a couple of apps that pay me money. So I'm very close. I'm at $670, and there's actually one right now that's listed on eBay for $725. Again, that's a lot of money, for a baseball card.
Sure.
But I was this close of just pulling the trigger on that and then just putting the rest on PayPal credit where I can just pay the remainder $50, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But that's the card that I want to own by the end of the year. Because once I get that card, my 56 top set, which I need, I think like 30 cards, will be a breeze. I should be able to complete it by the end of the year.
That's amazing.
So that's the one card I'm eyeing right now, so I can finish off the 56 set. And I've never owned the 56 Topps Nano. I owned a whole lot of other ones, but not that one. So that'll be new to me.
It's a good card. It's the oldest.
It's a nice card. It's one of my favorites. It's a nice little action shot.
Yes, it's the oldest Mantle card I have now, and like he's not big, and he's not a big player that I like that I will go out and collect for my collection. But I feel you should at least have one Mantle in your collection. So.
I don't know, man. Every time I get a Mantle, I get goosebumps, man. Even if I already have it, something about owning a Mantle card is like a really big deal because growing up, we were taught that it was a big deal to have a Mantle, card in your collection, and not being able to afford it when you're 10 years old. Now like when I still pick up a Mantle, I'm just like, wow, I own another Mantle card. So to me, it's a big deal,
Absolutely.
But they're not rare. They're not rare though.
No, they're not. But again, it kind of ties back to what you're talking about with the story and the narrative.
Yeah.
So I guess, let's, before we finish up, just wanted to kind of give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about what's going to be happening on your channel going forward for the next few weeks or months or so, if you want to talk a little bit on that.
Sure. I actually have a whole lot of content because my laptop was down. Okay, I bought a couple collections, one for $10. Wow. Really good deal with some good star players and Hall of Famers. Just a lot of bulk stuff that I've been buying lately, for my set building, but really good deals. I got some starter sets that I'm ready to make videos on, like 53. I think I have Bowman, 51 Bowmans. Some graded cards, just a little bit of. I actually have a little bit of everything. I have a 33 Gaudi update for you guys. I have a whole lot of. In fact, that reminds me.
Give us a sneak peek, man. Give us a sneak peek.
That reminds me. I have one of these boxes that I got from the authentication on eBay. Okay, I bought an error card from 1952, which was a big name if you're a big fan of 52. Well, this is going to be a spoiler alert, but with no details. They sent me the wrong card.
Oh, wow.
The seller had two of the same cards listed, which ended on the same, like within days, right? And they had a lower grade, like poor, like really beat up, and then a mid-grade one. Or it's also poor, but it's very nice eye appeal. Well, they sent me the wrong one, and I had to fight them for that.
Wow.
So I have to, that's another video that I'll be doing really soon to explain to you guys how that works if you receive the wrong card, because you can't send this card back. It's already been authenticated. So I'll be sharing you guys, my story on that and how to deal with that if that ever happens to you guys. Because I was, I wasn't too happy when I found out that I couldn't return this, And I have a whole lot of stuff to share with you guys, set building, player cards, little stories like this, some big collections I've been buying. I have a whole lot of content. You know, my computer was down, so I'm back. I finally got it back, and yeah, I'm gonna be pumping out videos. So hopefully you guys can join me on those. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar with my channel, I like telling stories.
Absolutely, and that's kind of like that's the bread and butter.
That's how I feel like my videos are. I'm telling like little stories, and even like the starter sets that I show or like little updates, little stories that I throw in there. That's how I feel like I'm doing them, and people seem to like that. So that's pretty cool, man. Because all I'm doing just showing my baseball cards. That's all I'm doing.
And that's what people want to see. They want to see. They just love seeing collections. I think the variety aspect. Love there's education. There's showcasing. There's card shows. There's and then just collections in general. But I want to say thank you, Mikey, so much for taking the time to discuss a little bit about your collecting methods, about your advice, your suggestions, the educational aspect of your channel. And I highly recommend those that are watching, those that have been watching, to definitely subscribe if they haven't already. Again, you're one of my favorite channels to watch because
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Just because I definitely learn a lot about the hobby in a variety of ways, especially someone who doesn't buy from eBay that often, but it definitely helps to understand, to look out
Are
for.
you doing that more often now, or not really?
What's that?
Are you dabbling with that more often, or not really?
Here and there,
Are you not having much luck as far as finding stuff on there?
I had I don't want to go. I don't want to down talk the seller because they worked it out with me. But I purchased a 51 tops Mathewson Connie Mack card, one of those pop out ones,
Yeah.
and I inquired about the condition of the card first because it was a raw card, and I inquired whether or not it was the perforation was popped out, and so the seller, I messaged the seller. Seller responded back that it was still intact, but it turned out that it was the seller's assistant who reached out to me, and when I got it, it was not in the shape I expected it to be in. But listen, I worked it out with the seller. The seller was really gracious and understood the situation. I returned it. I got the money back, so it was all worked out well. But
yeah, if you're buying on eBay and you're buying them as far as condition goes, I totally get that. It's going to be a little bit tough, to find those deals out there, for that because, even if they have added photos, you're going to be turning down a lot more than what you are picking up.
Yeah.
And when you have stuff like that, it's going to be a little harder to find what you're looking for. That's why I said my best advice would be, staying diversified, in your collection. So if that doesn't work out, at least your set building, you can find lots. If that doesn't work out, you can find some autographs. If that doesn't work out, that's my best advice. Just keep at it. You can find some good deals, man. Trust me.
Yeah.
And auction style. I always tell people auction style. Those are the best ones, man. Auction style. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you again so much for again jumping on this tonight and discussing a little bit. I think everybody really enjoyed it, and it was really cool to do this in a live stream format so others could ask questions and learn a little bit. But
I'm about to read the comments because I can't see who's writing what.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to go back and rewatch this to see exactly who's saying what. So, it was really fun, man. Thank you for having me. We should do this again. And hopefully once I figure out how to do this, and I'll definitely have you on my show and do some collaboration with some other channels as well as I've been wanting to.
I'm thinking of wanting to have you on with a group like a group of 4 or 5 other creators.
Sure.
It seems like that's a thing that a lot of people are doing. So but yeah, so we'll definitely work it out. We'll do another session at some point, but have some more intake from other creators. But again, thank you so much. And thank you, Mookie, Adam. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching and listening. And I hope y'all have a great night. And Mikey, thank you again. Take care.
I'll see you guys later. Toodles.